What is going on, everybody? Hello, happy Wednesday, April 2nd. Damn, it's already April. It's like the middle of the year already. 7:59 p.m., Phoenix, Arizona. Hope you guys are all doing good, doing great. It's almost Friday. Yay. Let's see what the weather was today. 65 degrees. Holy jeez. It's cold. Arlena, what's going on? Alexandra Pineda, what is happening? How are you? Lady Boomer, what's going on, Lady Boomer? How are you? Michelle B, hello. I'm doing super good, Alexandra. Thank you. I appreciate it. Pamela Maltese, what's going on? Oriana RC, I'm doing super good. Oriana, how are you? Esther Chavez, hello. June Rodriguez, what's going on? Pat Clark, hype. Arlena just got done eating dinner. That's awesome. Cynthia Romero, hello. Elizabeth Gonzalez, how are you, Elizabeth? How have you been? Trinita, what's going on? Cora Schooner, hi. Caroline Therese, hello. Sharon R, what's happening? Robin Coat, I'm doing super good. Thank you, Robin. Lady Boomer is good. That's awesome, Lady Boomer. Being good is better than being bad. So I love it. I love that for you. Tracy V, what's happening? How are you, Tracy V? Elizabeth Gonzalez gave a thumbs up. That's super cool. You're welcome. It's free. You can do it. It's just like that. Thumbs up. The thumb is up. So today was 65 degrees. Next Friday, it's going to be 100 degrees. Isn't that crazy? That's like bipolar weather, huh? Briani, what's happening? Hola, hello. Ro, what's going on, Ro? Arlena says it's snowing here in New Mexico. Yeah, so I bet you anything it's coming from the West Coast, right? The winds. It was very windy here today, very cold, and it's going east, so it's probably hitting you, probably most likely. I think. Oriana RC says I bit my tongue today. It hurts. I'm good otherwise. All right, thanks for asking. Oriana RC, I hope you survive the bite tongue incident of 2024. Stop biting yourself. Chris Celestina Ramirez, what's going on? How are you? I'm doing super good. Hopefully you're doing good. Celestina, Christina C, hello. Jermaine Thanos, what's going on? Pat Clark snowed a little bit in Wisconsin. That's so cool. Tetas Nutty World, you ate very mean. Got it. Thank you, Tetas. You've got people fooled, but not me. Nobody's trying to fool you, Tetas. But why are you here, Tetas? Allison Donahue, Boston, what's going on? How are you? Boston, Massachusetts. My nephew is right out there. Spooky, what's going on, Spooky? Brianni says it's cold in Colorado. Sheesh. Jesse Trent, Tennessee. 57 degrees in Inland Empire. Wow. What's for dinner? I ate like it's like a pork soup. So that's what I ate. That's what was for dinner. Jesse Trent, Tennessee. They call you guys volunteers. I gotta figure out why they call you guys the volunteers, right? University of Tennessee Volunteers, the Vols. Very cool. Lactastical, what's happening? Yo, yo, yo. Reminds me of Fat Albert. Hey, hey, hey. So yesterday I found out that what's his face passed away, man. Gosh. Abby Huckleberry. Um, oh my goodness. Iceman. Really sad. What's his name? Val Kilmer, yes. Val Kilmer, damn. What's your guys' favorite role of Val Kilmer? What was your favorite role? Nancy and Terry Whitmore, Good night at the same time. This just popped up. I was on my way to bed, 11 here in Maine. Have a good night. Thanks, Nancy and Terry Whitmore, for checking in. I appreciate you. Have a good night. Get some rest. So yeah, my favorite role for Val Kilmer was gosh, it's number one would be Top Gun, Iceman, and then number two would be Tombstone. I'll be a Huckleberry. He was the coolest looking tuberculosis patient I've ever seen. So he's pretty cool. Top Gun, yes. Gosh, what year was that? 1980, what, 5, 86, 84? Holy crap. I was little. Top Gun, yeah. He was like the little nemesis, right? Kind of the rival of Tom Cruise in Top Gun. So yeah, that was the first movie that I had ever seen Val Kilmer. I saw he did a really good job in Heat. I felt bad for his role in Heat. Um, so yeah, he was amazing in The Doors. Yes, you're right. I watched that movie. He, it's like he became Jim Morrison. It's like he just, man, he became his twin, in that movie, The Doors. So that was a really good role as well. Wow. Interesting, right? So yeah, it's really sad. Passed away. What, yeah, 60, what, 60 something, 65-ish or something. So of course he had what, throat cancer, because of cigarettes or something, right? And the radiation, the chemotherapy messed up his vocal cords, burnt his vocal cords, so he needed the little voice box. And that must have affected him tremendously because he had, like most movie stars, like their ego is super huge. 65, man. Yes, that's really young. That's really young. 65 years old. That's, he should still be here. So was it pneumonia or something? So yeah, he passed away from pneumonia is what I heard, but um it's just sad, man. I, I always thought he was a good actor. Really seemed like a cool dude. Apparently, a lot of people didn't like. A lot of directors didn't like having him on set because he was a little difficult to. He was a little bit, yeah, just difficult to control. So on movie set. Oriana RC says, "I loved Willow and Island of Dr. Moreau. I've never seen Island of Dr. Moreau. I've never seen that one. Isn't that crazy?" He was in Top Gun Part 2 also while fighting throat cancer, and he couldn't hardly talk and had scars around his neck. So sad. Yeah, I watched that movie, Top Gun 2. That was a super cool movie. So he was there physically, but I think the voice was AI generated, is what I heard, right? It wasn't his real voice. Well, it was his voice, but it was the lines were generated by AI from his actual voice, but he wasn't talking because he just couldn't, because sad. Eccentric, yeah. So I've heard eccentric, you know so again, flaws, personal flaws that people have in their personality. uh Here, so that the way people describe him, in his in when he was being direct, like when he was making movies, eccentric, standoffish. uh, it reminds me of his role in Top Gun number one, right? He was egotistical, like, number one, nobody else matters, everybody else sucks. So I guess he kind of embodied that style in his personal life. I'm not sure. I didn't know him, but Debbie O'Neill, what's going on? How are you? P Bates, I've been called that, or unique. P. Bates is a little unique. Kilmer and Brando did not get along. Uh, Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the. Is it the island of Doctor Moreau? I'm not sure. But yeah, it's sad, man. Again, the boxer, what was his name? George Foreman passed away. What, last week? Val Kilmer. It's like we're losing. I'm losing all of my childhood. People that I watched on TV and movies, boxing. So it's a little sad. You guys need to slow down, man. What's your favorite movie? I have two. I don't. I have so many movies that I like. The Exorcist, The Godfather, Rambo, It's a Wonderful Life, 12 Angry Men. That's a super good movie. I have a lot of movies that I like. I don't, I, it, it's hard to have a favorite, right? It's like if you have 10 kids, which one is your favorite? You can't have a favorite, right? But Sharon R says he wouldn't let people push him around, and Hollywood didn't like that about him. Yeah, I've heard that as well. June Rodriguez says, I feel the same way. I was telling my husband that. La Tastical's favorite movie is Debbie Does Dallas. Damn. Anita, what is going on? How are you? What's happening? Do you like the Maltese Falcon? You know what? Yeah, I've seen the Maltese Falcon, but I can't remember what it was about. But I know I watched it like 20 years ago. I watched the Maltese Falcon. It's about two guys, right? Two guys, some story about two guys. Holly Weird, yeah. I honestly have a thing like when people go to Hollywood, it's like they sell their souls. It's like they become somebody else. I believe that honestly. Like they they sell their souls and become somebody else, man. It's a trip. Richard Chamberlain also died. So Richard Chamberlain, I remember watching a show, a TV series back in the late '80s, early in probably late '80s or mid '80s. It was called. I was a kid. It was called Shogun. Richard Chamberlain was a white dude in Japan that becomes a shogun, becomes like a those freaking samurais, right? So I remember watching Richard that actor Richard Chamberlain in that show. That was a really good show. Jesse Trent, have you ever watched Lonesome Dove? Best movie ever. I really haven't. I've never watched Lonesome Dove ever, ever. Arlena, have a good night. Get some rest. Make sure you brush your tooth. We'll see you soon. That movie goes way back in time. I should watch it. The Maltese Falcon. I watch old movies all the time. I watch old movies all the time. So, this weekend, probably Sunday, I watched a movie called The Wraith. Anybody ever watched The Wraith? The Wraith, Wraith, The Wraith. It was filmed in Tucson, Arizona in 1980. 586 something, the with Charlie Sheen, one of his first movies ever. So yeah, so I watched it for the first time a few days ago, and it was really cool. I mean, it's not going to win any Academy Awards. It's a little cheesy, but I like it because of the history and filmed in Arizona, stuff like that. So Stacy Lovin, as a rule in nursing, deaths always happen in threes. I don't like that. I don't like that rule. Somebody needs to change that rule. Stacy Lovin. What's going on, Stacy? How are you? Anne Bankston. Val played Doc Holliday and should have won an Academy Award. He should have. He did an excellent job. I'll be a huckleberry. I love that line. I'll be a huckleberry. Jesse Trent, you must watch it. Lonesome Dove. Yeah, I'm gonna have to put that on the list. Sharon R says Chamberlain died 2 days before his 91st birthday. Long, glorious, stellar life, I'm sure, right? For Richard Chamberlain. Was he American or English or Stacy Lovin? I'm doing super good. Thank you. We're just talking about movies and Val Kilmer and Abby a Huckleberry. Stormy Connor, what's going on? Hello. Hello. American, Richard Chamberlain. It's awesome. What else? Let me see. What else was I going to mention about that I saw recently? Seeing Val Kilmer on video or like doing interviews, pictures of him the past year, he wasn't looking healthy, like wasn't it's like he's going downhill, so and to me I'm like, how is that possible? Like you have money, like have somebody help you, right? Hire somebody to help you, a nutritionist, a therapist, somebody to help you, just help you get better. With same thing I was thinking about with what's his name, he passed away with his wife. Um, the one that passed away in New Mexico, Gene Hackman and his wife. So he's 90 something and she's 60 and she was healthy. She ran, she exercised. So the plan, I'm pretty sure, was for her to take care of him, but they didn't have like a backup plan. What if something happens to her? No backup plan. Zero backup plan. So man, that's dude was worth $80 million. Hire some nurses, hire some therapists, hires people to watch you, like just a freaking security guard to be outside. And I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. $80 million. He's 90 some years old. She's 60. She's healthy, generally in good health. She just got sick from the Hantavirus, right? And she thought it was a cold, no big deal. She ignored it. Boom, took her life. But they didn't have a backup plan. So she passed away, and then he forgot how to take care of himself. He forgot how to drink water. He forgot how to go to the restroom. He forgot how to call 911 because he's 90 some years old and his wife takes care of him, so he doesn't do anything. So it's just sad, man. I was thinking about that. He's $80 million and he dies like that. Come on, man. Where's his kids at? He has like 3 kids, so adult kids, right? So I don't know. That was just me, pissed off about that. But P Bates, who would have thought we'd be in our 50s watching our heroes pass? God, so true. No, the wife didn't die of COVID. She died of hantavirus. Hantavirus. Hantavirus is like a it's I don't even know how to describe it. It's so rodents in the Southwest carry a virus. Rodents, right? Mice and rats in the Southwest, Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, Colorado. There's some type of virus that they have, and in their poop, their excrement, their poop, it still lives. The virus lives there, right? So you go walking around and you're kicking up rat poop and you breathe it in, it has a high fatality rate. Hantavirus, you can look it up and it's pretty scary. So yeah, she didn't die. She didn't die of COVID. Again, she was healthy. She was generally healthy. She exercised. She ate well. but they didn't have a backup. They thought he was gonna die before her. So, and then hantavirus presents like a flu or cold. That's the way it presents. You don't feel well, a little chills, you're a little cold. So the day that she passed away, she on her phone, her phone activity, she made an appointment to go see a doctor. That's the day that she died. That they think she died. So isn't that crazy? Madi, what's happening? How are you? One real one always. What is happening? Hello. Ambi La Jugosita, the juicy one. Amber from Australia. Caroline Treese, I felt so sorry for the dog that passed who basically starved to death. How sad. Do you think he starved to death first or he died of thirst? Because he was in his cage. And so what do you die from thirst first as a dog? Sad, man. Dora Kate, what is going on, Dora Kate? How are you? So I was watching the college basketball games last week, but University of Arizona, they choked, they sucked. They lost against Duke. Duke is a really good school, but they shouldn't have lost. I mean, that's what happens when I mean, at halftime it was like really close. It was they were they were right there, like 2 3 points down at halftime, but then the second half started and they went down by 20 points. So I was like, yeah, I had some choice words for them. So Pat Clark, it's shocking she was his only caregiver. That's a lot of work for one person 24/7. Pat Clark, my point exactly. Even if she had all the time in the world, you're you have an $80 million fortune. You're 94 years old, however old he was, right? Hire a couple people. Hire extra help, a housekeeper, somebody to clean, somebody to cook, a nutritionist, somebody to help you exercise. $80 million, man. So like, I just don't get it. I'll never understand that. June Rodriguez, have a good night. Get some rest. Thank you for hanging out with us. I appreciate you. Make sure you brush the tooth. Jesse Trent, have you always lived in AZ? Yes, for the most part. I've never lived anywhere where it snows. I would die from the cold. It's the coldest was during Navy boot camp. It was freezing, man. It was a Great Lakes boot camp, but we called it Great Mistakes. And the water, the wind would just bounce off of what is that, Lake Michigan or whatever that is, right? And so it was just freezing. They would have us out there standing at attention at 4 in the morning, man. My freaking poor ears. I thought they're gonna just if I went like this, they would just break and fall off. They felt like they were burning, right? Because of the freezing wind, and I thought it felt like my ears were on fire. So Pat Clark, I came from Southern California to Wisconsin, and cold didn't kill me. That's because you're tough, Pat Clark. That's tough. Jesse Trent, live in Pennsylvania a while, been in Tennessee for 46 years. That's awesome. Only want to go to Tennessee to go visit Graceland. Is it Memphis? Or where's that? Graceland. I have to go. It's on the list. It's on the list of the bucket. Oh man. I'll be your huckleberry. I'll be your huckleberry. Brianni says, I want to go to Dollywood in Tennessee. Do it. Core Schooner, there that's where my brother did training in Chicago. Yes. Yes. It's hold on. Texting. What's Dollywood about? What is that? That Dolly Parton or what? I think she's from over there somewhere, right? Didn't Dolly Parton's husband pass away recently or boyfriend or something? So I read that somewhere. So I got a new member in the family. It comes from China. It's a rooster, the fuzzy ones. Oh, awesome. Fuzzy rooster. Doggies in bed. Yeah, they're behaving. They're behavers. But I feel really bad for Vicky, man. Gosh, I feel so bad for Vicky. Um, Stubborn lady. She's so stubborn, right? So that's gonna be Angela, right? Vicky is 60, what, 66? Angela is 50. Uh, I'm sure that was Vicky was Angela, right? 20 years ago, right? 15 years ago. So um uh Vicky said, I'm tired of being out here. I want to get off the streets. But you have to deal with your addiction first, right? You have to admit you're an addict, can't be in denial, right? But she's a, I don't smoke that much. I'm in control. You're not in control, man. It's if I had a quarter for every time somebody I interviewed told me that they were in control, they like to say this: I do the drug, I don't let the drug do me. I'm like, oh my god, that sounds so like stupid, Just when people say that, that sounds so dumb. When people tell you that they're in control of their addiction, but they're homeless, they haven't showered in a month, they haven't ate in 3 days, um, come on, man. So it's really sad, really, really sad. Stacy Lovin, her boyfriend sounds like a piece of work. Doc, right? Jeez. Tianj678, what's going on? How are you? Vicky is my age. I feel so bad for her. I feel so bad for her. But what do you do? Like what you can't force her, right? And, I can't force her to get help. I can't force her to go to hospital. I can't force her to go to treatment. Some people like forcing people to do things against their will, right? Because they want to look like heroes, but that doesn't work. They just you're doing it for the wrong reasons, right? Um, so you can't force these folks to go anywhere they don't want to go. But again, I want help, but and so she's really saying, hey, help me with some food, help me with some water, and sometimes that's all you can do is just try to help them as much as possible. So sad. Maria Carrera, what is going on? Cindy Lee, Ambi La Jugosita, the juicy one. Vicky broke my heart reading that letter from the blessing bag. I think the words in the little letter from Shorty, it gets to them, gets to because a couple of people have shed a tear with that letter because they're the letter expresses how they feel, you know. And Vicky, if she seems like a very like a tough lady, like a tough woman. Jesse Trent, living like heroes, ain't that the truth? Thank you for being involved. You're their hero. Um, I want to say hero, but definitely they know. I'll come out there and help them and just try to help them as much as possible. Next time I see Vicky, I have to one of her friends, a former coworker, emailed me, and I got the number of the former coworker, and I'm gonna hand it to Vicky. So yeah, so hopefully she calls her. Faye Teeter, what is going on? How are you? Hello. Tion says, unfortunately, there is nothing you can. I was married to a drug addicted family, plus I was a detention officer. Addiction is a disease. The majority of these addicts have mental illness. Yeah. So the majority of the people I interview, they're suffering from mental illness. My question is always, did the mental illness lead to the addiction, or did the addiction lead to the mental illness? That's always my question. I got a call from a detective, Phoenix Police Department detective today. She's like, "Hello, can I talk to Art?" Yeah, this is Art. This is Detective Castillo with the Phoenix Police Department. Uh, you called the police on March 1st uh, because of a naked woman out in the street. Do you remember that? I go, yeah, I remember that. That was a horrific scene. So so I did call the police. I was driving, right? I was driving on whenever that was, whatever day that was. It was probably weekend, right? I was driving and there's this lady naked in the middle. No, she was on the sidewalk, naked. Right, her boobs are out, her ass is out, her bush is out. She's just out there naked. I slow down, roll my window down, like, hey, put on some clothes. You're gonna get arrested. She walks close to me. And what did you say? I said, put on some clothes. You're gonna get arrested. And she called me racist and she threw a soda at my vehicle. I'm like, you little freaking wench. So I called 911 and I give the description, right? Some naked black lady. And here's the cross streets. Come and get her because there's like kids that live in this community, right? There's literally kids here. So yeah, 3 minutes later, the cop was there. Like boom, because there's cops in that area like all the time, basically. So I passed by and she's in the back seat. I don't know how he got handcuffs on her because she was naked, like naked. Like I don't know how she cooperated, basically, right? But he got her in the back seat, and then he was picking up her stuff. She had like clothes on the sidewalk. She had clothes, she just didn't put it on. But that just goes to show you mental illness. And so I asked the detective. Detective asked me like, "Do you want to press charges?" And I said, "Nah, leave her alone." But then I was like, "Hey, do you think if I press charges, don't you think that's gonna help her?" Right? Because if her little rap sheet, is long, the state of Arizona be like, damn, you know what? We need to find this lady a place. She's so far gone, and she didn't look like she was high. She was mentally ill. So the state of Arizona, at least the state of Arizona, they have like a, they'll put them away when they're a harm to themselves or a harm to the community, right? So I wasn't harmed. My eyeballs were a little burning a little bit, right? It just sucks to see a human being like that, well, just casually, just on the streets, just naked, right? Broad daylight, in the morning time. So that was very unfortunate. I felt bad for her, I really did. I felt bad for the woman because that's somebody's mom, that's somebody's daughter. She wasn't I don't think she was working, she wasn't like a streetwalker. I think she's just mentally ill, mentally gone. Her she just her mind is vacant. And some of those people need to be housed in a safe environment where they won't be harmed because if somebody a bad guy sees her, what's he gonna do? He's gonna grab her, take her, and then nobody's gonna see her because, oh shoot, So anyways, that's what I that's that was I see stuff like that. So in that same area, I was driving by morning, 9 in the morning. I'm driving by. I look to my left. There's this dude laying down on the bus stop. He's on the bus stop bench, and he's just jacking off. He's going hard. He's like boom. He's trying to harm himself, man. Just and I like this mother flower, man. Broad daylight, right? Kids. There's a park across the street. No regard, no care in the world. Doesn't It's like that's harmful to society. You can't do stuff like that because that's really bad, right? Because there's children, there's little girls walking around for school. That's perverted behavior. This woman walking around naked, that could be viewed as perverted behavior. It's bad. So it's really, so I always tell people, uh if you ride the bus in the city of Phoenix, don't touch the bus, don't sit on the bus, don't sit on the bus bench, don't touch that shit, right? Because the things that I see on the bus bench, my goodness, man, it's just crazy. Sad. My poor eyeballs. It's true. Yeah. My poor eyeballs, Crystal Lena. Internet days, something similar happened at 83rd and Thomas. My grandkids called 911. Yeah. Um, Lupe P, what's going on? Not just that, but people smoke on those benches all the time. They're dropping their drugs on the bench. You don't want your kids touching that bench because it's just nasty. If they did a little swab of those benches, you're gonna find every nasty thing on earth on that, drugs and bodily fluids and all kind of crazy stuff on those damn benches, man. They don't clean them as often as they should, right? So yeah, don't touch bus benches. It's just gross. Hmm. P Bates, why they call you a month later? That's a good question. So they most likely put that lady in what are those called? Like a mental hold, right? When they arrested her, they probably didn't take her to jail. They probably took her to a mental evaluation like center, right? Like a mental place to evaluate how sane she is, right? So that most likely they sent her there for a couple weeks, and so that's probably what I was guessing. Crystalina, I dealt with children with disabilities. They peel off their clothing when they get upset. It's so crazy to have dealt with that. That's sad, man. 5150 72-hour hold. Granny QT. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm sure. Yeah, every state has different, right? How long they hold these folks for. But yeah, I'm sure she was held in evaluation. She harmed herself. Why are you walk around naked? Obviously, she had mental issues. So yeah, man, it's crazy. So when I see this stuff out in the community, so here's a crazy thing. When I see these things out in the community, I trip out when I see families like women and moms with their kids at the bus stop, right? I'm like, oh my God, if that mom only knew what was happening on that bus bench last night. Or I see families, the moms and their little kids at the park. I'm like, oh my God, if that mom only knew that that foil on the ground that their kid is running over, running on, playing on top of, grabbing, touching, is has residue from a very dangerous drug, right? Sometimes these parents are like oblivious, right? Sometimes they're just kind of dumb, basically, right? So, oh, let's go to the park. Like, lady, you don't see the park? Like, look at the occupants of the park. What do you think they're doing, right? So it's like they're oblivious, and so I don't want to say poor parenting, but just uh, there's just some parents that just can't see. Um, they just can't see. Basically, they're blind, or they don't want to see, or I don't know what it is. And so I'm like, Jesus, man. So it's really sad. I found drugs on the ground. I see needles on the ground. I see foil, little uh, um, straws, right? Little straws that they use straws to smoke up the pills, basically, right? So it's really nasty. It's really disgusting. Danny, what's going on? How are you? Caroline Therese, a former work colleague whom I've known for over 20 years, last week was charged with attempted amongst car theft, fire damage. Clearly, wow. That's why you always have to be nice to everybody you work with, right? Because when they flip out, you don't want them to flip out on you. What's that called? Going postal, right? Robert Tovar, what's happening? How are you? His mental state was not in a good place due to relationship breakups. So sad. He was the nicest guy. Danny, have a good night. Thanks for hanging out with us. I appreciate you. Brush that tooth. We'll see you soon. Cora Schooner likes chubby guys. She likes extra medium. Speaking of mentally ill, so there's this. So I just watched this. I forget his name was Paris. Some dude in Hawaii. Paris Oba, something like that. Paris. He was a chiropractor in Honolulu. And in 2023 or 2024, I can't remember, maybe last year, he was drowning in debt. He hadn't paid his taxes in years. He owed everybody, and just poor administrator of finances. He was married and he had 3 children. And last year, whenever this happened, he took all of their lives, including his own, with the knife. Isn't that sad? 40, I think he was 46. The wife was 48. She's from Japan. 3 beautiful kids. He was a chiropractor. Like supposedly intelligent, right? But it's just sad, man. Like, what, dude? You'll work it out. It's gonna get worked out. It's okay. It doesn't matter how much you owe. It's not worth taking out an entire family, mom, dad, and 3 kids. Come on, man. How selfish is that? Super sad. Olivia Solis, what's going on? How are you? What's happening? Destiny, what's going on, Destiny? How are you? What's happening in Texas? Is it cold over there in Texas? Because it's cold over here on the west end, and it's all going east usually. So yeah, my condolences to that family, man. Just mental illness is a serious thing. You guys have to got to be careful. In your own family. If you see somebody that's kind of acting kind of odd and weird and saying things, you have to be very cautious and pray for them, and hopefully they get better. Destiny says it's humid and chilly in the mornings. No humidity here in Phoenix. Zero humidity. It was 65 degrees today. Super. So actually, it was cold for me. I had to wear a sweater. Paula R, I'm doing super good. Every time I see the name Paula, I always think of Paula Abdul. Straight up now, tell me, do you really want to? Straight up now, tell me, do you really want to? Straight up now, tell me, do you really want to love? Do you really want to love me forever? Or are you just playing hit and run? So when I was a kid, that song came out when I was, I don't know, 12, 13. I had no idea what she was talking about. I didn't know what hit and run meant. I thought she was talking about like an accident, a car accident, but nah, she was talking about something else. Do you guys remember that? Straight up now, tell me, do you really want to love me forever? Right? Do you love me forever, or are you playing hit and run like I'll love you tonight, but not tomorrow night. So isn't that funny? That's how innocent I was back then. I didn't know what hit and run meant. Maria Carrera says it's cold in LA. Paula Abdul. Kathy Garcia, you know now. Yes, I do. But you know what? You know why I know? Not from personal experience, not from personal experience, but that lady with the straw traumatized me, right? She was trying to commit a hit and run. But you know what? I stood firm and I didn't allow that. I stood up for my values, man. And I said, no, 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 you're not going to convince me or make me do wicked, your wicked ways, straw lady. So I just told her no. Candy, what's going on, Candy? How are you? Granny QT, cold in Palm Springs, California. Palm Springs, who had a house there? Um, Frank Sinatra had a house there, right? Palm Springs. For some reason, Palm Springs was very popular with Hollywood and singers. I personally don't know why, but I've never really been there. And power out for 5 hours. That would suck. In Phoenix, if your power goes out in Phoenix during when it's 120 degrees, you're not gonna make it. Sonny and Cher, Bob Hope had houses there. Yeah, isn't that a trip? So back in the what 60s and 70s, that's when Palm Springs was like the little getaway for it was like the little desert Bel Air, right? Desert Bel Air, right? Maria Carrera, I used to play Jet Boy, Jet Girl on my record player until an older neighbor told me what the lyrics said. Jet Boy, Jet Girl. All right, look at the lyrics. Jet Boy. I never heard that. Jet Boy, Jet Girl lyrics. All right, let's see what we're talking about. Maria Carrera. Can you tell what's on my mind? She's with him. It drives me wild. I'd like to hit him on the head until he's dead. The sight of blood is such a high. Oh, he gives me head. What the hell? Maria Carrera, what are you listening to? We made it on a ballroom blitz. I took his arm and kissed his lips. He looked at me with such a smile, my face turned red. We booked a room into the Ritz. Oh, he gives me head. What the Maria Carrera, how are you feeling right now? Jet boy, jet girl, gonna take you round the world. Jet boy, I'm gonna make them penetrate. I'm gonna make you be a girl. Oh, jet boy, jet girl. I know I'm only just 15. I like to kick, I like to scream, and even if I have a kick or two in bed, when I'm with him is just a dream. Oh, he gives me head. What the hell? Oh, shit. Anyway, so I've never heard of that before, but that song came out in 1978, written by somebody named Elton Motello. That's funny. My family watched Lawrence Welk. Paula A says, I think a lot of people think of Paula Abdul when they meet. When they meet you, they think of Paula Abdul. I don't know a lot of Paulas. That's why. Paul Ritzler, hi Art. Are you disappointed with Angela for leaving the treatment center? Uh, Angela doesn't. I don't feel disappointed with Angela because I know who Angela is. I know what she's been all of her life. I don't have like a God complex where I like I'm gonna be the person that changes her life. Like I know that I'm a realist. I have my feet firmly planted into the ground, and so I don't let my emotions be swayed by the people that I interview. Uh, I'm glad that she's alive, and if she goes to treatment center and she completes it, great. I don't see that happening anytime soon, based off what I know of her. Cora Schooner, we are having a major thunderstorm right now. Hope the power stays on. Yes. Maria Carrera, my son was a preteen listening to this. Shit. Getting ideas. Maria B says, when my son was little, he thought Hooters were a rock group. I mean, they kind of can be, a little rock group of two. It's not heavy metal, it's soft metal. It's soft. Tracy V, almost midnight. I gotta brush my tooth and get to bed. Awesome, Tracy V. Thank you for hanging out with us. I appreciate you. Get some rest. Stay away from Jet Blue, or no, stay away from Jet Boy and Jet Girl tonight, okay? Be safe. Don't let Maria Carrera corrupt you. Jermaine Thanos, have a good night. Get some rest. Candy, my dogs are doing good. Maria Carrera, Art, I am 66 now. My 46-year-old son and I laugh at all my dumb young years experiences. That's a 66 and you're looking back fondly on memories. That's awesome. That's really at the end of the day, all we have is memories, right? All we have is memories, right? Gene Hackman, $80 million. He can't take it with them. He can't use it. He's gone. But I hope that he had good memories, right? He had good memories with his children, his wife, his life, his acting, his career, his fans. That's all we have is memories. Brianni, my nephew is doing good. Jesse Trent, I really hope she is not forced in treatment. I don't think it will ever work until she truly wants it. I don't see that happening. Yeah, that's usually the case for most humans. Just you have to want it. So, um, but Megan Zoff was happening. Yes, you are a realist when it comes to Angela. You're doing what you can do for her. In the end, it's up to her and only her. Meanwhile, you can show her Christ-like compassion. Can be her friend. I can give her cigarettes because I don't want her to pick up cigarette butts from the ground and put them to her lips. That's like really, it's very disgusting. So me and Frank get her cigarettes. I prefer she wouldn't smoke, but she's been smoking since she was 13 years old. She said she's been smoking. She's 50 years old. She's been smoking. Since she was 13 years old. You think she's gonna stop because I tell her to stop, or because you want her to stop, or no? So I'd rather buy her some cigarettes than her picking up cigarette butts from the ground and lighting, putting them to her lips and smoking that. So it makes sense in my head. Tianj 678, have a good night. Get some rest. Make sure you brush the tooth. P Bates smoked from 13 to 54. I'm 54. No, yeah, she started smoking at 13 and Angela is now 50. So she's still smoking. She's still gonna keep smoking. But P Bates is still smoking. You started at 13 too? Damn. Prayer works. The best we can do is meet Angela where she is and not force anything. Yeah, I think that's what Jesus said, right? Meet people where they're at. Meet them right. So you don't so to always take that as to accept people for who they are, not for who you want them to be, right? Because that, you wanting them to be clean and sober and showering and mentally well, that's more pressure on them. You got to allow people to be themselves. Cora Schooner, Art, I'm heading to bed. I hope that you had a good time with your nephew and his mama didn't get too mad about his haircut. Thank you, Cora Schooner. Have a good night. Get some rest. Make sure you brush your tooth. We'll see you soon. Her mental illness isn't her fault. Yeah, I mean, it's not about fault. It doesn't matter how she became mentally ill, if it's her fault, not her fault. That's beside the point. That really doesn't matter at all. Just how do you help somebody that's mentally ill? How do you give them resources and help and yeah. So how do you help people like that? Angie Martinez, you purchased a bus ticket for Nick, but you couldn't force him to go back home. So yeah, me and the Big Lip family. So me and the Big Lost in Phoenix family, the people that donated, we've bought two tickets. One for Blake and one for Nick. So Blake, at least he let me pick him up and we went to Target to get him a backpack and clothes and food and stuff like that, Greg, because he wanted to go to Denver to go see his mom. I got him on the bus. I drove him to the Greyhound bus station. I got him on the bus, and the bus is going backwards and like pulling reverse to get out of there. And then I leave. He got off the bus. Nick, or that was a Blake. I'm sorry, 21-year-old Blake. A couple months later, he would be deceased. And Nick just didn't show up. I said, "All right, Nick, I got your bus ticket. I'll pick you up tomorrow. Okay, okay." He didn't show up. So again, that's us trying to help, and but I'm not gonna force them. That's bad. That's criminal to force people to do things that they don't want to do. It's against the law, actually, in the United States of America. But Maria B, you bring awareness. Yes, like the time that I called the Phoenix Police Department because there's a naked woman walking the streets of Phoenix. I was bringing awareness to the Phoenix Police Department. Hey, there's this naked woman. Like everything is out in the open, just hanging there. Can you come get her off the streets? Because there's children, trying to play, man, trying to focus on playing and living, and they shouldn't have to see some naked, mentally ill woman. I mean, it's okay to be mentally ill, but you can't be naked out in public. That creates harm for the community. So very sad. Prayer works. It's hard to say how mentally ill she really is without the drug use. Yeah, that's true because in the time that I've known her, she's she's usually been high as a kite, but the times that she's been sober, she's still mentally ill when I talk to her on the phone, or when I used to go visit her at the hospital when she was sober. She's definitely still mentally ill, still suffers from mental illness. Brianni, for all you know, when you call the police, maybe that prevented an SA, right? An assault. Yeah, kidnap, an assault like that. She was aggressive. She was very aggressive. I told her to put on some clothes, and I was being nice. I wasn't like mad at her or anything. I knew she was suffering mental illness, but she threw a soda can at me at my vehicle. So that wasn't nice of her, you know. So yeah. Straight up, now tell me, do you really want to love me forever? Or are you playing a game of hit and run? Something like that, right? Something like that. Jesse Trent. Yeah, there's some people in the world, man, it's just, uh, you have to pray for some people, right? Whether they're on the streets, whether they're mentally ill, they're mentally ill on the streets, or they're mentally ill helping people, So God bless those folks, man. Just, what do you do? Just gotta pray for folks. A lot of folks out there suffering, man. That's for sure. It's for damn sure. Kitty lover. Meow. That sounds funny, kitty lover. So the day that I saw that lady out in the streets, just walking around in her birthday suit, I would. Yeah, nobody was loving the that was just it just was it's just wrong, to see that out there and it's just like that guy on that bus bench doing what he was doing. I'm like, man, that's not cool, man. That's like not cool because there's kids in this community. There's houses, there's apartments in this community. What if there's a kid walking, like a couple of kids go to the park or go to the store and they just see that behavior, people behaving like that, and it's just unfortunate, what do you do? What do we do as a society, though? What do we do? Kitty lover is mopping the floor. That's awesome. Shan Nee. Look who it is. My favorite Mexican Paddington Bear. Yes. P Bates. Was she just strolling along? Yeah, yeah, she was just walking, like she was just walking up and down. Like she would walk and like walk back and walk and like talking to herself. Like, she was a tall lady. She was like 5'8". She was about 5'8". She was a tall woman. And I think she was wearing a wig. I think she was wearing a wig. And she wasn't wearing anything else. Nothing. Socks. I think she did have socks on. So it's just unfortunate, man. It's really sad. Stacy Levin, remember the guy that was stalking Carla? The guy that was stalking Carla. Who was that? Who was stalking Carla? Refresh my memory. Prayer works. Is Angela aware of the BS? Uh, I think she is in her own way. In her own way, she's aware. Because even though she's mentally ill, she's not stupid. You know, she's mentally ill, but not stupid. Are you sure she was a woman? Yeah, she had a few items on her that told me she was a woman. So that when I called 911, the operator says, she asked me, the operator, she said, so tell me what you see. Like what do you see on her? I don't see anything. I see she's naked. I see boobs. I see her butt, and and socks. And she said, "Do you see any weapons on her? Any weapons at all? Anything? Any weapons that the police officer should be aware of?" I said, "Yes, ma'am. She has she has this bush. She has this dangerous bush. She's been having that same bush for like the past 40 years or something, man. It's real, very dangerous. That could be used as a weapon right there. So please make the police officer known that that could be known as a weapon." So so I did tell her that. So here's the 911 operator was like, and then she composed herself. She was giggling, and then she composed it like, oh shit, like I'm being recorded, like I can't giggle, I can't be laughing. And I didn't mean it like, I wasn't like trying to be funny, but I mean it was very visible, like very, so you can't, hey police officer, you can't miss her, naked lady, and she's right there on the corner. Get her off the street because I'm sure there's gonna be kids here. Again, it was a Saturday. It was early in the morning, so pretty soon the kids are gonna come out to come, play and whatnot. So, yeah, man. Can you imagine like all the cars that passed by and nobody called the police? Was I the first one or what? So, yeah, it's crazy. So in that neighborhood, like there's so many mentally ill people that they're just like accustomed to like craziness. So it was really, really sad. Pamela Maltese, Art, I had my knee replacement Monday, stayed in the hospital for 1 day. Now dealing with the pain, real bad, using a walker, getting around. Pamela Maltese, I'm sorry that I'm sorry that you're in pain. I hope you get better. I hope you feel better. It's really, really the knee replacement. Damn. I don't have the best knees, but gosh, I don't want my knees replaced. So please get better, and may your recovery be swift and just get you feeling better. Sunny, what is going on? Hello, how are you? Oh, you call the cops. He was playing with the, yes, that older gentleman. So you know what ended up happening with that guy? Happening with that guy? He absconded. He didn't show up to court. So there's a an active warrant for that idiot, right? So this dude was 70 some years old. I'm interviewing Carla, and he's behind a dumpster playing with himself. So yeah, I got notified by the by the court, because I was a victim. And they said, hey, just FYI, this guy, he was supposed to go to court. He didn't go to court. So we would just wanted you to know. So I'm all right, cool, thanks. So he has a warrant. 70 some years old. Can you imagine if I wasn't there, what this 70-year-old knucklehead would have done to Carla? And that's what I told Carla. I told her exactly that. I'm like, Carla, this is one example of why you need to go to treatment. One example of why you can't be out here on the streets. One example of, if I wouldn't have been here, what do you think this old knucklehead would have done to you? Look, there's nobody back here. We're behind a store. No, there's no cameras back here. Come on, think, Carla, think. But she's still out there. Shan Ni, have you ever tried jackfruit? After seeing that guy uh, doing what he was doing on that bus bench, yeah, I'm not touching anything named Jack. Kitty lover, oh my God, listen, old men can be perverted. I worked in medical field for 29 years. Mr. Ralph, God rest his soul. I walked in and he was swinging his thing around, asking me if I wanted it. Ah, how old was he? Was he like, want this? I'm imagining, right? Poor kitty lover going in, walking in, right? He's gonna give him his pills and change his diaper or something. He's just swinging. He's like, hey, kitty lover. Hey, nurse, kitty lover. Oh shoot! If your name tag said nurse kitty lover, that, yeah, you're kind of messing with them. So 94 years old, holy shit! Damn, 94, acting like he was 24. Holy crap, that's crazy. And Bankston, some people's brain do not fully mature as they grow up, not mentally ill. Arrested development, right? Some people have an inferiority complex. Some people hate themselves. Some people are confused with their sexuality. They don't know who they are as a grown up, right? They're 20 years old, they're 30 years old, they're 40 years old, but they act like children because they haven't developed mentally. They're stuck, they're stunted, right? So we see that all, I've seen that a lot. So you guys see that with people out there interviewing people. You just got to pray for those people that they come to reality and stop acting like the way they act. So Stacy Levin, I had an old man threatening to because it was his birthday. Damn, that's crazy. What are you guys doing to these people? Poor old man, huh? You nurses need to carry mace. Spray him a little. Psst. No, Mr. Ralph, get off of me. Put that thing down. Stacy Levin retired. Too many guys hitting on her. Stacy Levin says, I'm out. Cindy Lee, how's Nick? Nick is locked up in the state pen. He gets out in sometime in April, and we'll see if he goes home or if he comes, back goes out to the streets again. We'll see. Stacy, 36 years of being a nurse in the mess. Kitty lover art. I had 4 total in my career. Dirty old man. You had like 4 what? 4 of those situations? Like people, some old guys swinging it at you. La Tastical says, I gave an old guy a urine cup for a pee sample and he left me his babies. So you handed a urine sample cup to this older dude. He went to the restroom and he gave you back semen. Basically, that's nasty, man. What'd you do? Like throw it away? Like would you kick him out of there? Like what happened? That's crazy. First, he asked if I wanted to go help him. Stacy Levitt says, I was giving an old man a bed bath, and he says, that's the first time that thing has worked in years. you were you were touching all the right spots there, Stacy Levin. Holy crap. Stacy Levin almost died. She had the Midas touch. Kitty Lover says, Stacy, I was taking a BP blood pressure, and Mr. Leo was twirling his thing and said to me, don't you like it? That's, that is funny. That is a trip. Golly. God bless you. Nurses are awesome. You guys put up some crazy stuff for sure. Nurses are pretty cool. Oh my gosh. Kitty Lover says, you never forget these things. Oh man. That is funny. Kitty Lover says, my son is a nurse now. I can't wait to hear the stories. I wonder if women patients also flirt with the doctors, right? With the nurses, the male nurses, right? So, do you know if there's any male nurses? They're like Tom Jones. Yeah, this patient in room 100, yeah, she threw me her panties, right? She's yes, they do. Stacy Lovett and Kitty Lover said, yes, they do. Holy crap. Pamela Maltese, it seems like they have more techs than nurses here in the Rochester hospitals for some reason, Art. Yeah, I'm not sure. That's funny. Golly. What's going on in the hospitals? What's happening there? Straight up now tell me, do you really want to love me forever? La Tastical says techs are cheaper. Megan Zoff, the doctor I used to work for, went out with half the patients. It was bad when more than one showed up at the office. All the stories I could tell you all. The doctor I used to work for went out with half the patients. Oh, like he would date the patients? Damn. Is that like isn't there like a thing against that? Like you shouldn't like the doctor shouldn't do that, but it still happens? That's crazy. If you're a doctor, like why would you want to date your patients? Like, that seems I don't know. It just something seems wrong with that? Most were on pain meds and many ended up dying. Damn. After the dates or before or during the dates? What's going on? When I was in hospital, a guy covered in poo ran into my room and then out, and then security, some nurses ran in where he is. That doesn't sound fun. Doesn't sound fun at all. Marty says, I gotten hit by doctors. What do you mean? What type of hit? Like they spanked you, they punched you, they flicked you. What do you mean hit? Jesse Trent says, I don't think it's legal now to date a patient. Yeah, it just seems I don't know, it just seems very extremely unethical to date to date your patient as a doctor. Like you just dude, they came to see you because they're sick and you're gonna try to go to bed with them. Come on, man. Kitty Lover says in one of my first jobs, Dolores, a mentally ill client in nursing home, loved sex. Charlie was another patient. He was always in her room giving it to her. We had to monitor them. Right. Well, good for Dolores and good for Charlie. Megan's off. I kept a log of all the shit he did. I was an office manager for 12 years. I resigned, leaving him a little letter listing all the reasons why. Damn. Alley Cat, what's going on? How are you? How you been? Alley Cat was new. That happened in the Alzheimer's units. Really? Katie Love says, no, it was not okay. Charlie would be missing and we knew to go to Dolores's room. Dang. You guys got crazy stories. Alley Cat, sad that Val Kilmer croaked. Yeah, I mean, I was, how long has it been? About 10 years since he had throat cancer, right? And when they put that little voice box in hearing him, that's very heartbreaking, you know? That was very sad. Uh, Ever since then, like it seemed like he seemed depressed to me. I mean, you can't blame him. Losing your voice, you know, it's like losing an arm. So, so he seemed depressed, but I hope he created great memories with his family, his children, and he left us with good memories. I'm gonna watch. So the past month, I've been watching Gene Hackman movies. Now I'm gonna switch over to Val Kilmer movies. Sad. I'll be a Huckleberry. I'll be a Huckleberry. Gene Hackman was a great actor. He really was. I loved his acting. I like Gene Hackman in that one movie with Tom Cruise about the lawyers. What freaking The Firm. I was watching that a couple weeks ago. The Firm. Watch that. If you never watched that movie, it's a Tom Cruise and Gene Hackman. Super good movie. Loved it. The Firm. Gene Hackman was a bad lawyer in that movie with the good heart, kind-hearted, I guess. I've never watched The French Connection. Isn't that crazy? I should watch it. I should. I should. I really should. So, anyways, gang, I'm out of here. Thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate you guys. I'll be uploading a video tomorrow. I couldn't do it today. I was so busy with work. Um, but yeah, I'll probably upload Celeste video tomorrow. Okay, so be looking for that. But anyways, you guys have a good night. Get some rest. Make sure you guys brush the tooth. I'm gonna give you guys some fireworks. Gonna give you guys some of this, a little bit of that, some of this. Bzzzt. Then I'm gonna close it out with some of this, some love for all you lovely folks. Make sure you brush your tooth, get some rest, and I'll definitely see you tomorrow. Okay, so have a good night. Bye.